Evening, everyone. Welcome to our seventh Health Matters with Hatsuno Kiseki Facebook Live session. Thank you all for joining us today. In this session, Dr. Lim will be sharing the breakthrough science of postbiotics, the secret to a bulletproof immune system. Am I right, Dr. Lim?
Yeah.
Yeah, the use of the term postbiotics have been increasing, and slowly more studies like the ones that we have done showing positive outcomes. I hope this session will provide you with the knowledge of how Kiseki can help with your immune system so you can take Kiseki with confidence. Many may misunderstand Hatsuno Kiseki as a cure-all product, but the fact of the matter is that it is a product that boosts our immune system with the right nutrient metabolites, and how the postbiotics can function in your immune system. I guess I better stop explaining and leave this session for Dr. Lim to share his findings with all of you. Please feel free to ask any questions if you have, and we'll try to answer them during this session. Also, very important thing is if you have any topics that you feel passionate about and you would like us to cover, do let us know either in the comment section or you can message us privately. So thank you so much again. Over to you, Dr. Lim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark, for that. I would like to share my slide. Do you mind to?
Go ahead.
So share. Okay, can you guys see my slides?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, can see now.
Yep. So it's on the immune. If you have a postbiotic on the immune system, the evidence-based research. Okay, I'm trying to maximize it into a presentation mode. Okay. So as far as we're concerned, that postbiotic has been shown to possess some of the evidence-based research, especially the immune system. So what we can see here, how come the slide is still, okay. So I'm going to present some of the evidence-based, so some of my research from the some of the journals, which I have basically, extract out, did some research on the literature review on the result that they have published before. So all these are, I would say, the preclinical studies, and some of it are clinical studies, which shows the effect of postbiotic on the immune system, which is part of the evidence-based research. Now, evidence-based research is very important, especially for certain product like postbiotic, because without evidence-based, it actually shows nothing. It actually shows a quick science. A quick science if there is no evidence based on certain research that has been conducted. So as you can see here, postbiotic has actually shown a very great promise in supporting the immune system. In fact, that it is also protecting our body, especially for the immune system, against the harmful bacteria, or normally we call it as pathogen. So some of the postbiotics can actually enhance the immune system to fight off the infections. So how does this thing happen for postbiotic? Okay, let us see one by one by the journal that has been published, and also the evidence base that they have obtained. So I actually took one of the journal from Journal Agriculture and Food Chemistry, which they actually published in 2019. So this group of researchers actually look at the effect of a postbiotic compound called moramyl dipeptide, or in other words, it's the MDP. So it is monoamine dipeptide is this actually a naturally occurring molecule or occurring compound that is released by a certain bacteria. Okay, what kind of bacteria? It could be like lactobacillus to show the immune response or the immune property. So this means that it can actually activate or enhance the immune system. So when we say about the immune system, it's actually the body's defense mechanism, okay, against of harmful pathogen and also some of the foreign substances that comes into the body. So the whole thing or the whole scenario is actually involves a complex network of cells, tissues, and also certain organs that work together to identify and eliminate the potential threats. So when a certain pathogen or bacteria or whatever foreign substance that go into the body, they will actually work together to identify and eliminate whatever potential threats they can do to our body. So here, they did that the postbiotics, they found there are beneficial byproduct, which is produced by the probiotic bacteria during the fermentation, and they can give a certain benefits to the host organism or the host cell. So in their study, they actually found that this kind of compound, the monoamine dipeptide, when they produce, it is part of the effect for the production of white blood cells. Now we know that white blood cells is actually a type of immune cell that play a very crucial role in fighting the infection. So white blood cells are produced in the bone marrow and it is circulated in the bloodstream. Then they can identify and attack whatever bacteria that goes into the body. So they found that this compound will stimulate the immune system. So this compound is the MDP, monoamine dipeptide, from the compound from the bacteria in the postbiotic. Actually, they were induced to produce more white blood cells. So actually, this is very good. So suggesting that this may enhance the body's ability to fight off the infection. So we can see that this is very important because in order for us to form a robust immune system, it is essential in maintaining the health and preventing infection and also the diseases. So what we can see here is the compound MDP produced by the bacteria into the part of the postbiotic compound. It actually helps in the prevention and treatment for to make the body stronger by inducing the white blood cells. Okay, this is the first one. And the second one, they did on some of the compounds from the combination of postbiotics, from the combination of beneficial bacteria, which are the lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. So they found that this combination of the compounds that's produced by these two bacteria, which form the postbiotic, are beneficial bacteria during the fermentation process. That means that these two bacteria are beneficial, then they produce some of the compounds. So what are the compounds that will do to the immune system in our body? So they actually investigated. So they found that the combination of the metabolites or the compounds will actually induce the T cells. Now, just now was the white blood cells, now it's the T cells. So what is actually a T cells? It is a type of immune cell that play an important role in immune response. That means it's like a defense mechanism. So T cells are responsible for identifying and also try to eliminate the cells that are infected with viruses or maybe a cancer cells. So T cells is very important because it's a cells that actually help us in the immune system. So they also found that the combination of these postbiotic compounds, they increase the production of T cells. Then they find that a stronger immune response that can help to the body to fight off infection and reduce cancer. Okay, reduce the risk of the diseases like cancer. And they also found that the potential of the postbiotics that they have tested they actually can enhance the immune system function. Now, unlike those probiotics, which we could see that the live bacteria are introduced into the body through either food or supplements, we can see that postbiotics are actually non-living compounds. So they can be extracted and used directly. So this means that the postbiotics may have the advantages over the probiotics because they do not require the live bacteria to be present in the body to have a positive effect on the immune system. So in this case, that postbiotic will have more compounds that is beneficial in the body immune system, especially on the T cells and also the white blood cells. So the next one, if you can see that almost the same bacteria they have produced, the postbiotic, they found that this postbiotic could reduce the inflammation in the gut of mice with inflammation in the colon. So this is very helpful for those who have a digestion problem, for those who have gastrointestinal tract, the inflammation in the colon, for those who don't really go to the toilet regularly. So this, they try to test it on the mouse model. So they feed the mouse with the postbiotic. Then they try to see what is the positive effect on the inflammation in the gut. Surprisingly, this postbiotic actually reduce the level of the certain molecules. We call it as a cytokines that involve in the inflammations. So there are certain compound signal that involve in the inflammation that this postbiotic reduce their level. Because for the inflammation to happen, this level of compound needs to be increased, but then postbiotic reduce them so that you won't get the inflammatory bowel diseases. Okay, so this is one for inflammatory bowel diseases in terms of the gut in the mice. So I try to search some of the immune system that will help in the human immune cells in detail, especially for anti-inflammatory, because we know that when someone gets cancer or when someone gets inflammation in the colon, the inflammation itself is the first step to trigger other diseases. So for us, in order for us to try to treat some of these diseases or try to prevent some of these diseases, inflammation is very crucial. So I tried to search for the information, and we found that I found that the result actually, a group of researchers, they investigated the anti-inflammatory effects of the postbiotic produced by another form of bacteria, which is let me see, it is a Bifidobacterium infantis. So they test on the production of pro-inflammatory and also the anti-inflammatory cytokines. Now, pro-inflammatory means a certain compound that actually will induce the inflammation. Now, anti-inflammatory cytokines or anti-inflammatory compounds, it is actually trying to reduce your inflammation. So one is pro, which is to pro-inflammation, and one is the anti-inflammation, which is try to reduce the inflammation. Okay, so they use a mouse model as the specimen, and they found that the postbiotic, when they extract from this type of bacteria after fermentation, they found that they actually reduced the production of the pro-inflammatory cytokines or pro-inflammatory compounds. So that means that pro-inflammatory cytokines or pro-inflammatory compound actually has been reduced in the human immune cells. So when it is reduced, then you won't get inflammation. So when you reduce the pro-inflammatory, you actually increase the anti-inflammatory. So when you increase the anti-inflammatory, one is suppress the pro and one is anti, then you will get less inflammation. So talking about so many things about the inflammation, everything, the compound that actually trigger is actually called the cytokines, the cytokines. So what are cytokines? They are actually proteins that produced by the cells in the immune system that regulate and also coordinate immune response. That means that if, let's say, you have a bacteria or a virus that goes into the body, this type of protein will be upregulated as a defense mechanism to fight your body, okay, to fight the viruses or whatever foreign material that goes into your body. So they can have pro-inflammatory and they also have anti-inflammatory. So depending on what kind of protein that involved. So in this case, some parts or some of the researchers, they use the mouse model. They actually induce the inflammation in the colon, which is the large intestine. They make the colon of the rats or the mouse to become inflamed, and they treat it with the postbiotic. And they found that there is a reduction in the level of pro-inflammatory cytokines in the colon tissue. So they actually give the postbiotic to the mouse, and they check the inflammation. They take the colon out, or they take the large intestine out, and they check it, and they say that, oh, this is actually inflammation that has been reduced, and the level of the protein is actually decreased for pro-inflammation. And the protein level for anti-inflammatory has been increased. So pro reduced, anti increased, it reduces the inflammation. So this shows that the postbiotic have the inflammatory effect and potentially very useful in treating inflammatory bowel diseases. Okay, next, we have general nutrients. General nutrients, they actually publish a lot of scientific findings from the postbiotic. And we could see that this group of researchers, they actually tested the postbiotic from the extracted out the compounds that will actually improve the composition of gut, of microbiota, the gut in the, we call it as from the small intestine and from the large intestine in obese mice. That means that it is very, very obese mice. They make it, the rat eat so much and to make the mice obese. So they want to see the consequence of postbiotic, the effect of postbiotic on obese mice, and also on the inflammation in the gut, or in the, the stomach, the small intestine, and also the large intestine. So in order to test this hypothesis, the researchers try to feed them with a very high fat diet. Then they give them the postbiotic to the mice, I think about 10 weeks. Then they found that the postbiotic reduced inflammation in the gut of the mice. So they also checked the protein level, the cytokine protein level, and they found that the level of pro-inflammatory protein has been reduced. So again, the postbiotic reduced the pro-inflammatory protein. So additionally, the postbiotic also improved the composition of the gut bacteria in the mice, which it will increase more beneficial bacteria and reduce more harmful bacteria. That means it actually functions in two ways. One is to reduce the pro-inflammatory protein, and the second one is to reduce the harmful bacteria. So what can we get, or what can we conclude from this experiment is the finding actually shows that the postbiotic may have potential therapeutic application, which is a beneficial application for obesity-related inflammation and also the metabolic disorder. Maybe you have, obesity, you have probably other problems, inflammation problem, then the postbiotic has the potential or the therapeutic property or therapeutic value in reducing these two things. So when we say about reducing inflammation, it actually improves the composition of the gut microbiota, or the gut in your stomach, in your large intestine, and also in your small intestine. And it actually will improve overall health and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. What are the chronic diseases? It could be some diseases that are associated with obesity, like diabetes, cardiovascular disease with the heart disease, and probably certain type of cancer. Okay, so yep, from there we can make a conclusion that obesity and related metabolic disorders, it will be good for treatment with postbiotic, or maybe prevention with a postbiotic in humans. So we actually did the Kiseki Royal on the cancer cells, or the breast cancer cells, which I shared a couple of weeks ago. And we found that the Kiseki actually reduced or killed some of the breast cancer cells. And from there, we actually check on the protein level, which is the cytokine level of the cells from the Kiseki treatment. And we found that the interleukin-8 and also interleukin-6. So before I go for all these terms, what are interleukins, or what is interleukin? So basically, interleukin is the same as cytokines. They are actually a protein. Okay, they're actually a protein that act as a messenger between different types of cells in the immune system. So if let's say I have cell A and cell B, so I need interleukin as a messenger. It's just like, postman sending from one letter to another letter, your boyfriend letter to the girlfriend letter, and vice versa. So it's a interleukin that works in that way. So why are they important? Because they play a role in coordinating the immune response to infection and diseases. For instance, let's say something foreign, or maybe a bacteria that goes in. So interleukin will actually say to the cell A, hey, certain virus or certain bacteria already in the body, you better do your work, you better go for the defense mechanism, go and call your group of people or your group of cells, and let us fight with the virus. So these are the interleukins. So in Kiseki, we found there are two interleukins, which are the interleukin-8 and the interleukin-6. So what is interleukin-8 and what is interleukin-6? Interleukin-8 is a type of protein that our body produces in response to an injury or infection. Okay, if you get injured or you get any type of infection, then interleukin-8 will be produced. So in this case, we check the breast cancer cells, and breast cancer cell, because it's a breast cancer, it's a cancer cells. Then when we treat with Kiseki Royal, then interleukin-8 will be produced. So interleukin-8 get the response because there is a certain injury there. So interleukin-8 also acts as a messenger between the cells to help to recruit white blood cells to the site injury or infection. If let's say a breast cancer means the cells are maybe injured or maybe got infected with the cancer, and the cells need a messenger, interleukin-8, to come out with a lot of white blood cells to fight with the infection. Okay, so this will help to fight off harmful invaders and promote healing. So there is one interleukin-8. So how about interleukin-6? It's almost similar. It's a type of protein that our body produces in response to inflammation or infection as well. So it also acts as a messenger between the cells to help to regulate the immune response. That means like when certain things come in, okay, defense mechanism. Same thing as interleukin-8. It also plays a role in many different processes in the body. For example, development of blood cells, and also response to the injury and regulation of metabolism. So what we can say is we can say that the Kiseki Royal with these two interleukins which we have found in the lab may have a positive effect on enhancing immune response in battling cancer through the cytokines action, which is the protein actions. Remember, one is pro-inflammatory and one is anti-inflammatory cytokines. So these two are actually help in the immune response in battling cancer. So we can see that with the interleukin 8, their white blood cells can be produced, and these white blood cells will go direct to the injured cells or infected cells and form a defense mechanism and try to defend the body from being injured or being infected further. So that is the conclusion that we can get from Kiseki Royal on the immune system. Okay, so I think that's it. If you see these two graphs, so the IL-6 on the breast cancer, which is the MCF7, is secreted actually quite high. And also IL-8, which is the interleukin 8, which is secreted at a certain concentration as well. So these two are the interleukin or the proteins that has been secreted after the treatment with Kiseki Royal. Okay. With that, I conclude my sharing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lim. Thank you so much for your insight. All right, so now we go into the Q&A session. Okay, I have two questions actually. How do you test inflammation?
Inflammation. How do I test inflammation?
Yeah.
Okay, inflammation comes in many ways. So if let's say if you're using the mice or using the in vivo mice, normally we will check the pore itself. That means that if it is in the experiment, if you want to make the mice, if you want to make the mouse become inflamed on its paw, then we will inject a certain trigger factor on the inflammation. Then we can measure the size of the inflamed paw. Okay, that's how we can see inflammation on the mouse. If let's say on the cells, we can see some of the secretion of the protein as I mentioned just now. So if let's say it is highly secreted or highly produced, then inflammation has happened there in the cell itself.
Okay, and my other question is, are the interleukins dependent on the disease or the different type of disease? Like if let's say, cancer, you have interleukin 8. If you have asthma, maybe it's interleukin whatever. Is there such a thing? Different interleukins have different functions.
Yes, different interleukins have different functions. And then let's say when you have a treatment with a certain postbiotic or you have treatment with certain compounds, some different interleukins will be secreted out. So that is how we actually see the function of the immune response or the immune system of the sample for the postbiotic. So in this case, the Kiseki, actually these two are actually secreted in high volume. I don't deny that there are some of the interleukins that have been secreted out, but they are at the undetectable level. They are, but they're undetectable level. Only these two, they are detected. So these two are actually very good in the defense mechanism.
Right. Okay. So in like, let's say for this breast cancer research that we have done, would you say that if we can increase the number of interleukins and it would be better for Hatsuno Kiseki postbiotic products?
I would say there is certain beneficial and functional interleukins. So not all treatments that will actually trigger different interleukins. So normally some of the interleukins, as I mentioned, some are actually pro-inflammatory. That means it can actually trigger inflammation. But
Right.
pro-inflammatory trigger inflammation doesn't mean that it's actually not good. It actually trigger more of the white blood cells. So when trigger more of white blood cells, it will actually go to the injured cells or disease infected cells, which it will actually fight the whatever virus or diseases or the bacteria.
Okay, interesting. Great. Dr. Siva, you have any question?
Dr. Siva, you are muted.
Sorry. Loud and clear. Perfect. Short,
Okay.
sweet, and nice.
Okay. You have any questions for Dr. Lim?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Tan, you have any questions?
Okay. Dr. Lim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Just now you mentioned about the pro-inflammatory
Pro-inflammatory.
and anti-inflammatory.
Yep.
So both are being produced by our body.
Yeah, it depends on how it depends on which foreign matter or foreign material that actually go into the body. So if let's say you're taking some maybe some supplement or maybe some of the nutraceutical product, so it will trigger some of the interleukin if you have any inflammation. So if let's say if you have anti-inflammatory, so this interleukin will actually reduce your inflammation.
So do you mean that our body will produce the pro-inflammatory to cause inflammation in our body?
Some, yes. Some things, some of the food that you eat will actually trigger inflammation. Probably I would say allergy.
Okay.
That you have inflamed on certain parts. So yeah, so that food or whatever that you have taken, it will actually trigger those pro-inflammatory interleukin.
I see.
So this interleukin will give the signal to the cell. Okay, you produce more or certain chemical or certain protein to become inflamed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our body will also produce the anti-inflammation to counter.
Yeah.
This inflammation thing, I think like COVID cases also related to this inflammation thing.
I would say inflammation in the lungs. So.
I see.
Yeah. I think you're referring to the cytokine storm. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's why it clogs up the blood vessels and people suddenly die of organ failure, heart attack, or stroke.
I see. Okay.
Exactly.
So this inflammation thing is not only like related to cancer; it can relate to many other things.
Yeah,
any infection in general.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I would also like to add on that currently after I came to know about Kiseki products, I rather first put people on Kiseki products, postbiotics, because a lot of people nowadays are allergic to probiotics too. So it's not at all probiotics are good. Some of them can cause irritation too. But so far, after administering to many people, so far people have zero side effects from taking postbiotics. So now postbiotics has become my first mode of prescription and then followed by other things.
Thank you, Dr. Siva. So when we say inflammation, Dr. Lim,
Yep.
in Chinese we have Hiti, right? So is it the same?
Okay. From the from the point of traditional Chinese medicine medical system, yes, Hiti can be inflammation can be part of Hiti, so-called the hitiness in the body. So hitiness here, I would say probably, in our body, some food are actually exothermic, some food are actually endothermic. That's why they will say this is a hot food, this is a cooling food. So if let's say we take a lot of fried food,
yeah,
we tend to get
Durian.
Yeah, the durian. So we tend to get heatiness in our body. Yeah, heat in our body. So when the food may trigger some of the proteins to cause inflammation. So if let's say from the TCM view, it could be the imbalance of the yin and yang. So normally when we say Hidi, it's probably the excess of yang than the yin.
Okay.
So the yin and yang imbalance. That's from the TCM perspective.
I guess that could be one of our session in the future. Dr. Siva, do you think so?
Well, okay, that's I leave it under the TCM specialist to cover that. Yeah, I think they are more qualified on that.
Right. Okay. So if there is no other questions, I guess it's time that we end this session. And for those that are watching reruns, you can still post questions in the comment section. Hold on a moment. KCO has a question. Kindly explain the sequencing of the biotics agent in Kiseki products. Pre, pro, and post, and their interactions as compared to taking lactofol, probiotic medication.
Well,
Hang on.
well, I guess what is referring to is normally when you see a GP for diarrhea or after they give a antibiotic, they will give a white color sachet. Is it what Mr. Yo is referring to?
Lactofol.
Yeah, I think it's the standard white color sachet what most doctors give. Is that the one? Could you please confirm it with him?
Okay, let me just check. Yeah. It's greenish.
Lactofol, is it?
Yeah. It's white. Yeah.
Yeah. White color. Yeah. But usually, I believe that's all dead bacterial cells. Actually,
it's a bacteria. It's a probiotic.
Yeah.
So what Mr. Yo is asking is explain the sequencing of the biotics agents in Kiseki products, pre, pro, and post, and their interactions as compared to probiotic medication. So,
explain the sequencing agent. I don't understand what sequencing agent that he is referring to.
Probably it's is to compare postbiotics with probiotics. What are the benefits of taking postbiotics to taking probiotics?
Okay. If we see the probiotics, it actually involves a lot of bacteria, because it's a lot of bacteria. Some bacteria are beneficial, but I would say most of the bacteria are actually beneficial, and we can use different types of bacteria in the probiotic supplement of the food products. But for some people, I'll take myself as an example. I have a gut problem. That means that I have I have a lot of stomach problem. I used to have gastric. I used to have bloated stomach, and a lot of people actually try to ask me to, why not you just take probiotics? So I actually try to take a lot of probiotics, and the effect is I got worse because I actually got a lot of diarrhea from it. Then I got even worse. I got even more acidic stomach, and the acid actually reflux into the esophagus. Then I tried to talk to the doctor again, or tried to talk to the the person who actually introduced me to probiotics. He said that, oh, since you are having diarrhea, then why not you just keep on taking and having diarrhea more? Then I said that, oh, okay. It will actually make me more lethargic rather than get treated for my gut problem. So I stopped. The probiotics. Then later on, someone actually introduced the postbiotic. to me. So I took this postbiotic, which is I think Kiseki. So yeah, it actually stopped my problem. It stopped my gastric problem. It stops my problem with the bloated stomach, and my stomach feels very good. It doesn't feel like very so-called intense in terms of that kind of crampy stomach, those kind of feeling. Yep. So that is the difference from my personal experience.
Period
That's
cramps.
what. Yeah.
Period cramps, you mean?
No lah, how can be period cramps? I have never experienced how period cramp feels like. Yeah.
Okay, I guess what Dr. Lim is trying to say is that we try not to be overly dependent on a single strain of probiotic, because our gut microflora has thousands and thousands and thousands of species of beneficial bacteria. The other thing is that when we take excessive amounts of a single strain of probiotics, we might have a weakened immune system, which is the potential side effect of it, because that one particular strain of probiotic will be the dominant strain in our gut. So this particular strain, it could be just a designer, but then you don't have the builder, you don't have the accountant, you don't have the CEO and all that already. So you would have how should I say, an adverse effect of taking too much of a single strain probiotic. So, and the other thing is that not all probiotic bacteria may survive the digestive tract.
You're right.
To a reduced number of bacteria reaching the gut and providing the intended health benefits. So probiotics may have varying effects on a person's well-being depending on their gut microbiome and how well suited certain strains of probiotics are to the person taking it. For your case, Mr. Yeo, it would be the lacto-4, is it? Yeah. So I hope we have answered your question, Mr. Yeo. Okay, so if we don't have any other questions, I guess we should end this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Our next session would be on the 26th of April. Where Dr. Tan will be talking to us about understanding added sugars in our food. This will be very, very interesting. And please mark your calendars. Again, if you, the audience, have topics that you feel passionate about and you would like us to talk about it, do let us know in the comment section or message us privately. Right. So for those who have not liked or subscribed to our Facebook and our YouTube page, please do so. It will help us a lot. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Good night.
We hope you find this session informative and empowering. Thank you. Good night. Take care.
Bye.